Hello everyone. A rainy day out here in Vermont today, but that's all right. It's nice, warm, and dry here in the shop. Definitely stripping the leaves off the trees too. I think our fall foliage is about done. Okay, so today we're out here. We've been working on our John Deere 180 tractor, trying to see what we can do. We were able to, this is the correct starter for the tractor, and took it off, cleaned everything up, put it back on, and was actually able to just adjust it a little bit. There's a little bit of movement there, and I got it working, so it turns over, which is great. But the next thing that I ran across is we have no spark. So got a couple things involved here. Get it? First off is right here on the end of my finger. This little guy right here is the igniter for the ignition. And then we have our coil. Now the coil is a magnetic pickup. That picks up, get my screwdriver here, that picks up off this little tab here. And see, the tab is a magnet. Now the magnet's good and strong, so that's one test right there. If the magnet loses its magnetism, the coil won't pick up anything. So I removed the coil and removed the igniter, cleaned them all up, tested them. Okay, now from what I came up with from my internet searching, this small engine stuff, like I say, I am no expert on it. I know just about enough to get myself in trouble, so we're kind of learning as we go along here. But our igniter, okay, from what I was able to, there you go, from what I was able to find in our igniter, the tab here to the case of the igniter should be 400 to 600 k ohms resistance. This one here is at 595, which shows good. Okay, and the other thing that, so I put it back on, and the other thing I checked is between our case and the battery, we have no resistance whatsoever. So we have a good ground for the case of the igniter. So that's good. Now on our coil, alright, on our coil, what I did, took it off, and there's a couple of checks. Between the tab here, where it hooks up, to the bracket is supposed to be 0.48 to 0.72 ohms resistance. That should be the primary side of the coil. This one is no resistance, dead shorted to the bracket. Okay, which is very bad, I'm assuming. So that, in theory, shows that it's not good. It's bad. So next up, you can check from your ignition lead to the bracket as well. And that should be 10.9 to 16.3 k ohms. This one is 18.09 k ohms. If I take the lead off and check it without the lead, it's within spec. So the only thing that we've got so far that's not in spec is our first check on the primary side of the coil. So in theory, coil's bad. Okay? But anyways, so just fiddling around here. So I cleaned everything up, put everything back together. Now the gap, as this rotates around, there's a gap here and here on your coil to the flywheel. And I set that at 12 thousandths with a non-magnetic feeler gauge. So that's in spec. Okay? So far, in theory, if we go with all of our testing is complete, we need a coil. which is not uncommon, I guess, with these. Other things that do happen is the flywheel key could shear and throw it out of time, and I guess there's a plastic gear on the camshaft that can do the same thing. But either way, we should have spark. It won't be timed right. So we've kind of eliminated our switch, which you don't have any keys for. And if you watch up here, see if I can do this with one hand. When I connect this jumper, basically it turns on. We've got, you know, our warning lights, our battery light, our low fuel, and our oil pressure warning lights are on. So then we come over here and we jump this. And there you go. And the one good thing is, if you notice, our oil light went out, which means that our engine has oil pressure, because it turned off the little switch. So that's good. So we got some good, we got some bad. So at this point, I think what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to acquire a new coil. And I don't know, if it's fairly cheap, I think I'll replace that little guy there too. And, you know, the thing is with all this stuff, I mean, it's hard because you don't want to spend a lot of money not knowing what condition everything is in. And unfortunately, the rest of my little tractors all have Kohler engines. This is the only Kawasaki that I have. So I can't play the old game of, you know, Swaptronics and, you know, swap in known good parts for bad and see what we got. But that's not good diagnostics anyways. So that's what we got going on here. Kula is very excited about the whole deal. She's just nice and warm in front of the fire. But anyways, there's some positives here. Stuff does seem to work. I pulled off the back part of our sheet metal. Just looking around, and I mean, I can't really find fault with anything else really on here so far. So our clutch pedal and our clutch pedal here and our brake pedal don't have much travel, so we got to take a look at that stuff. But other than that, the gas that's in the tank still seems to smell like gasoline. I don't know if it's going to be super great or not. But what I did at first though is I just blocked that off at the fuel, after the fuel pump. And when I was first trying to start it, I just drove a little gas into the carburetor. So there we are. Getting a little closer. Like I say, it's kind of fun and interesting in a way, figuring out all this stuff. And hopefully it'll be fun and interesting in a way that we can get it to run. The other thing that we've done is taken this off. There was a giant mouse nest in there, and everything is just rusted up solid. So I sprayed it up, and I can turn the wheel, although not free. So I've got that soaking with some stuff. Hopefully it'll free it up and get that working. That would be a good thing to be able to steer it. So anyways, little by little, in amongst, fooling around, service the Expedition, rotate the tires on that. And we did spend a little bit of time cleaning up our LT133. Come out pretty decent. Doesn't look too bad. Still have some more to do. I have to clean up in the front and under the hood and stuff like that. But it's getting there. So that decent looking little tractor, I think, when we get done. That'll be okay. And like I say, we need to go out and put the leaves out there and get that all cleaned up. But the weather is just not agreeing with that. So for now, this is all we're doing, messing around with this stuff. So anyways, that's what we got going on here. All good. No complaints. Like I say, continuing to live in the dream. So, as always, you know, questions, comments, criticisms, they're all taken with a grain of salt. Please, you know, post it down below in the comments. I thank you for watching, and I thank you for subscribing, and until the next time, take it easy.